Second year economics deals with Indian economy. Total we have 10 units in second year. First 8 units deals with Indian economy, whereas 9th and 10th chapters deals with Telangana state and economic transformation of Telangana state. Then first unit will start with economic growth and development, which is very important from examination point of view also. At least we will get weightage of this lesson will be 20 marks. Okay. First I will give introduction about what is economic growth and what is economic development. Okay, these two are very important questions that we deal while reading Indian economy. See, first it seems to be similar, but economists explained various differences between economic growth and economic development. First, in brief, I will explain what is economic growth. Economic growth is nothing but quantitative changes in output of goods and services. And economic development means it includes not only economic growth but also structural changes in the economy, all spheres of life. First, I will explain precisely what is economic growth. Economic growth, see students, economic growth, it is an increase in country's real level of national output, which can be caused by increase in quality of resources, thereby increase in quantity of resources and improvement in technology. First I will say what is economic growth is nothing but comparative analysis of past with present statistics. So whatever there is past, see increase in GDP, that is past their GDP is 2.5 means in this year 3.5 means increase of growth will be 1%. Only quantitatively we measure economic growth, that is quantitative increase in goods and services, which is caused when there will be increase in goods and services, when there is an improvement in technology and when there is a labor efficiency, then only we can increase GDP. GDP is nothing but gross domestic product. Economic growth is very narrow concept compared with economic development. Then we will go to economic development. What is economic development? See, economic development means it includes not only economic growth, not only increase in GDP, but also certain changes in all spheres of life. What is this all spheres of life means? Multi-dimensional changes in the economy. Not only social, economic, political and cultural changes should be continuous throughout. It is very wider concept. It takes at least 20 to 20 years to attain economic development. See students, now we have achieved independence before for 75 years. But after 75 years also, now India is in stage of developing. Why? Because of low standard of living and because of less quality of life. Because we lack facilities like health, education and our standard of living is very low compared to developed countries. But economic development takes each and every aspect. Every country in the world wants to achieve multi-dimensional changes in their economy through changes in social, political, cultural aspects only through economic development. That means economic development includes economic growth plus increase in standard of living, increase in standard of living, increase in employment opportunities, increase in employment opportunities, increase in health facilities. So thereby reducing poverty. Main aspect is reducing poverty. When there is a decrease in poverty, there will be increase in standard of living, increase in employment opportunities, increase in health facilities. That is the main thing of economic development, aspect of economic development, which increases. Main object of economic development is increase in standard of living, but thereby increasing quality of life. When we achieve economic development, there will be self-esteem. We will become self-esteem. Self-esteem means what? Self-confidence in ourselves. That is called self-esteem. That is called economic development. Is this concept clear, thus? Once this concept is clear, we will go to what are the essential factors needed for economic growth. Now you understood what is economic growth. Economic growth is increase in GDP or increase in value of goods and services from all sectors of economy. So what are the essential factors needed for economic growth? There are two essential factors which is needed for economic growth. First one is increase in real national per capita income. This is first. If there is economic growth, if there will be increase in national per capita income rather than increase in population. Even though there is increase in population, there should be increase in per capita income. When these can be achieved? When there will be increase in per capita income. When there are this aspect takes two things into consideration. First, rate of savings. When there will be increase in national income, when rate of savings are more. When rate of savings are more, we can again invest in production of goods and services. We will demand more goods and services, but then again we can start with production, so we can achieve economic growth. Second one is capital output ratio. Okay, what is this capital output ratio? Increase in economic growth leads to increase in capital. Investment. What is capital investment in business? When there will be economic growth? When there will be have more investment, capital investment. When capital investment is more using technology, output will be increased. When output is increased, again we can achieve economic growth. These will be second essential factor is economic growth is always linked with productive ability of economy. What is this productive ability? We have seen national per capita income. We will see what is this productive ability. Productive means production of goods and services. When there will be production of goods and increase in production of goods and services, first when there is labor force increase labor force. Second one is when there will be again productive ability when we use technology. So for achieving this productive ability, we need efficient labor force as well as usage of technology. Now these are the two essential factors needed for economic growth. First, increase in national per capita income, and second one is it is linked with productive ability of economy. These are two essential things needed for economic growth. Now we have seen economic growth, what is economic growth, and essential factors needed for economic growth. Now we will see what is economic development and when we can say that there is changes in economic development. First, what is economic development? Thus, economic development includes economic growth as well as structural changes in socio-economic structure. There should be changes in socio-economic factors of the economy. So, where there should be changes? First change should be structural changes in national output. What is this national output? Okay girls, first there should be change or increase in national output. We get income from three sources, that is three sectors in any economy. Income will be from three sources, that is primary sector, second one is secondary sector, tertiary sector, that is service sector. So to achieve economic development, share of agriculture or share of primary sector should decrease and shares of secondary and tertiary sector should increase. This is the first change. Should increase. What is first change? Structural changes in national output. First, share of primary sector. What comes under primary sector? Share of contribution of national income towards primary sector. What comes under primary sector? Agricultural, fishing, all comes under primary sector. Now, developing countries like India, still most of the share we will get from this primary sector. But to achieve this economic development, there should be decrease from primary sector and share from industrial sector and service sector should increase, thereby increasing more output. Second one is structural changes in industrial production. So there should be. So most of the labor to achieve economic development, most of the labor, what they should do? They should manufacture final goods. They should, that is manufacture final goods, that is manufacturing of capital goods rather than giving importance for consumer goods. You know what are capital goods? Capital goods are machinery and all comes under capital goods. So there should be change in total industrial production. More stress should be given for producing capital goods rather than consumer goods. When capital goods increases means what? Technology increases, everything will get more output from the economy. Third one is structural changes in foreign trade. What is foreign trade? As we know, import and export we call it as foreign trade. To achieve development, so exports should be increased and imports should decrease. Exports of what should be increased? We should export all final goods, okay, rather than consumer goods. Imports in consumer goods should increase, as well as exports of final goods also should increase. Then we can achieve what? Economic development. Mainly students, we should be self-reliant. So exports we should minimize. See what? Imports, and we should encourage more exports. Then only we can increase national income. So what should be this foreign trade means? Exports of final goods or capital goods should be exported, and we should also try to minimize import of consumer goods. Then only we can say that we are in the stage of development. Fourth one is structural changes in technology. What is technology? Modernization. Modernization is called technology. Using modernization, using more technology, we can produce more goods and services. So every country now what is economic development means? Transformation of an economy from old means primitive method towards modernization. When we can achieve? When there is structural changes in technology, that is called modernization. By using more technology, we can produce more goods and services. When we can use more technology? When we have good education. Then only efficiency of labor will be increased. Then only there will be increase in technology. Fourth point is structural changes in social and institutional So there should be structural changes in social and institutional. As I said, once we say that we have achieved economic development means our self-esteem. Self-esteem will increase, thereby increasing standard of living. That is called institutional. Institutional means what? How we are producing institution. I said more industry, depend on more industries rather than primary sector. We depend more on service. Infrastructure will be developed. Everything, telecommunication, everything will develop means what? We will become self-esteem and self-confidence. Thereby we achieve quality of life. Economic development mainly stresses on quality of life rather than quantity. Main differences between economic growth is measured quantitatively, whereas economic development measures both quantitative as well as quantitative as well as quality spheres of economy. With this we have finished the concept of economic growth and economic development. Okay, till now we have seen what is economic growth, factors influencing economic growth, economic development, what are the structural changes in economic development. Now we will see everyone. This is very important concept, girls. From examination point of view, you may get this question, this concept for 10 marks. So listen. very carefully. First, what is economic growth? I said. So first difference of economic growth is economic growth means increase in output of goods and services. That is increase in gross domestic product. That is called GDP. Increase in gross domestic product. And as I said, it only measures economic growth means for increase of output quantitatively. That is increase of output quantitatively is called economic growth. Then what is economic development? Economic development, as I said, it is wider concept compared to economic growth. So economic growth includes economic development includes economic growth plus multi-dimensional changes in socio-economic structure of an economy. So what is this, girls? Economic development is wider concept. So increase in quantity plus quality is measured by economic development. It includes not only economic growth but multi-dimensional changes in socio-economic structure. What is changes in socio-economic structure? As I discussed, this economic development is never ever ending process. It takes at least 20 to 25 years to achieve economic development. So this is social transformation of primitive society towards modernization. That is what? Increase in standard of living. Main concept of economic development stresses mainly on increase in quality of life. Means what, girls? Increase in standard of living. Say for example, we say that America is developed country, India is developing country. On what basis we will say? For us, having car is luxury, having basic effort, but in India, having car is luxury, but whereas in USA, like developed countries like USA, having car is essential. That is called standard of living. So, why there is low standard of living in developing countries like India? Main thing is poverty. Because of poverty, there is less employment. Because of less employment, there is less income. Because of we don't have even health facilities. But economic development mainly stresses on what? Increasing standard of living, thereby decreasing poverty, decreasing unemployment. Main thing is in India, rich becoming richer and richer and poor becoming poorer and poorer. Why? Because of income inequalities. Main stress of economic development is reducing this income inequalities. That's why economic development measures both quantity as well as quality. Third difference is economic growth is single dimensional, whereas economic development is multi-dimensional. So, economic growth is single dimensional means only increase in GDP. Multi-dimensional means it includes economic growth plus socio-economic structure of the society. Fourth difference is intervention of government in producing goods and services is not as necessary. So what is this in economic growth? Is to increase goods and services. So intervention of government is not necessary. But economic development, what is economic development? There should be changes in society. So in an economy. So compulsory intervention of government is necessary. So without intervention of government, we cannot achieve the economic development. Next one is economic growth deals with traditional approach. Whereas economic development deals with modern approach. What is this traditional? Traditional means old. According to economic growth, what does it say? Take care of growth. Poverty will be eliminated. So what does it say? Take care of growth. Poverty will be eliminated. This follows trickle down approach. Trickle down approach. What is this trickle down approach means? Flow of income from rich, flow of wealth from rich people to poor people. See students, if income of rich people increases, or if an income of rich people increases, what they will do? They will invest again in producing goods and services. When there is demand for goods and services, we need more labor. When labor is there, the labor will get income. So when there is growth, what does economic growth says? When there is growth, poverty, poorness is eliminated. That is called trickle down approach. But what does this economic development stresses on? Take care of poverty. Growth will be achieved by itself. What does it say? If there is no poverty, so it is they can produce more goods and services. So that's it. Economic development says take care of poverty. Growth will be achieved by itself. Okay. Sixth difference is faster economic growth can be achieved through per capita increase in per capita income. Means through per capita income and technology. So economic growth is increase in per capita income GDP plus what? Technology. So faster, when we can say there is faster economic growth? When there is increase in technology. But economic development means increase in socio economic development can be achieved when there is increase in quality of life. So faster economic growth means for use of technology, that is increase in education. Faster economic development means increase in quality of life. Next difference is economic growth. It is short-term process. Short-term process. That is for a period of 1 year. Whereas economic development It is long-term process. Long-term process means what? So what is economic growth? I said increasing output of goods and services within a period of 1 year. So economic growth is short-term process. Economic growth takes within a period of 1 year. But economic development is overall development, changes in quality of life, structure. So it is long-term process. At least it takes 20 to 25 years for achieving this economic development. Next one is, it is relevant concept for developed states. It is related to developing economies. So it is relevant concept. Means what? Relevant. It is related to developed countries. Why? Already developed means they achieve self-sufficiency in growth. But economic development, for whom we want economic development? For developing countries, there should be changes in society, structural changes. So it is related, this economic development is related to developing countries. Next one is, it is narrow concept. It is wider. Means what? It is very narrow concept. It includes only increasing goods, but it is wider concept. There should be social change, may or may not necessary in achieving this economic growth, but social change is wider concept. It includes changes in economy. So these are the main differences between what? Economic growth and economic development. Girls, till now we have seen what is economic growth, economic development, differences, factors of economic growth and factors of economic structural changes in economic development. Now we will see objectives of economic development. What are the objects needed for economic development? To have first object of economic development is high rate of growth. Growth in GDP, growth in national income. All developing countries like India and China are achieving a high rate of growth. So this is started in India. This concept of increasing growth, increasing GDP, national income has started with 5-year plans, introduction of 5-year plans. Before planning era, the economic GDP is only 3.73% with 2.5% of population and 1% of per capita income. So before planning period, so you know all about 5-year plans. We started after independence 48. We started with 5-year plans. Before that, GDP is very less. That is only 3.73%. But increase in population is 2.5 and 1% increase in 1% of per capita income. But 6th, 7th, 8th 5-year plans gave more importance for this increase in growth. So we achieved first 6th 5-year plan 5.6, then 6.5 and 6.8%. So which plans came? 6th, 7, 8, 5-year plans gave more importance for increase in economic growth, increase in national income. That is, it has increased from 3.73 to 5.6, 6.5, 6.8. But 9th 5-year plan wants to achieve 9% growth. Now it is not sufficient, girls. Even though it is 9%, China achieved 10%, but India did not achieve this target of 9% because of heavy pressure of population. Growth is very less. Okay, then next one is self-reliance. What is self-reliance? I said standing on one's leg. One one's leg means, as I said, first we have to decrease imports. We should give less, we should decrease imports, and we should try to give more importance for exports. Till 3rd 5-year plan, they did not stress on self-reliance. Before independence, after independence also, that 2 years till 3rd 5-year plan, what we did, even consumer goods, agricultural goods are also, we have been exported from, they have been imported from developed countries. But 3rd 5-year plan, so try to reduce these imports, and we have imports became minimized, and we have increased exports of manufacturing goods, capital goods also. This is possible only when we become self-reliant. We should minimize imports. If we does not restrict these imports, what happens? Developed countries take advantage. So second objective of economic development is self-reliance. What is self-reliance? Standing on one's own leg. Means what? Minimize imports and increase exports is called self-reliance. Next one is social justice. Third objective of economic development is social justice. What is this social justice? As I said, in India, rich becoming richer and poor becoming poorer. That because of income inequalities. 80% of Indian assets are held by 80% of assets are held by rich people, whereas 20% of assets were held by what? Middle class and poor people. This shows social injustice. Once if we achieve social justice, then only we can achieve economic development. This can be possible by 4 methods. First one is by adhering to the principles of democracy. Politically, we should follow democratic principles. You know, for the people, to the people. So, there should be democratic principles. Second one is reducing regional imbalances. In India, we see some states are more developed and some states are less developed. This kind of regional disparities should be reduced to achieve the objectives of economic development. Third one is we should follow decentralization process. What is decentralization means? So centralization process means everything, power flows from higher, so central to state. Now we have seen Niti Aayog. The Planning Commission is example of decentralization process. Now Planning Commission has been transformed into Niti Aayog. What is this Niti Aayog means? Decentralized process means from villages to states. Planning should be start from lower authority, lower states to upper states. That is called decentralization process. And second one is last one is social justice can be achieved only by development of what? Backward classes, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. This is what is social justice means, girls. Proper income, then we should reduce income inequalities. Next one is economic stability. Stability means what? Stable. Stable means everything. So growth, everything should be continuous. It should, one year it should not be high, other year it should not be less. So growth should be growth should be stable. That is following non-inflationary and self-reliant. What is inflation? Thus increase in price of goods and services. So an objective of economic stability can be achieved only through self-inflationary and self-reliant. Self-reliant means what? Depending on import should be less and export should be more. Then last one is inclusive growth. This is very, very important to achieve the objective of economic development. What is inclusive growth? Growth means, as I said, increase in output of goods and services. So inclusive, when we can achieve this economic development, not with growth, simply increase in GDP. There should be increase in employment, increase in income, increase in health conditions. So growth should take care of everything, thereby increasing standard of living, even though there is increase in population. That is called inclusive growth. What is inclusive growth means? Growth should take care not only production of goods and services, but it should be adjusted in such a way that there is an increase in level of employment, education, income distribution, everything. That is what, even though there is an increase in population, it should be adjusted. That is called inclusive growth. So today, students, we will end this topic with objectives of economic growth and development. Tomorrow, I will continue with indicators of economic development, characteristics of developed country, characteristics of developing country with special reference to India. Is it clear?